What is going on, Stallions and Stallionettes? Today we're reviewing a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, not the licensed $70 model, but a $25 version that has features that the licensed controller does not. I'm not sponsored by this company, but it has been sent out for review, but it is going to be a honest, nitty-gritty, comprehensive review. Is it perfect? No, not quite. My first marriage wasn't either, but this controller probably will last a lot longer. Let's get it. So I've actually used EasySMX controllers in the past, and they're a lot like PowerA in that they're cheap, but they don't feel cheap. They're usually about half, sometimes a third of the price of licensed Nintendo or Sony controllers, but they just work. They're not gonna blow your tits back with features like paddles and trigger locks and stuff like that, but again, you're looking at like a $25 controller. And for that price, if you just need a second controller, or maybe you're on a budget and you need a primary controller, it works fantastic for you. Just like PowerA, I really do like their designs, their faceplates, which I think are really cool. Picture on screen here of a couple of their options. I went with this kind of steampunkish theme here. And the main reason I chose this is I actually plan on doing a build on this controller with a steampunk theme. And that will be given away in the near future. Most likely that giveaway will be hosted on my Facebook gaming page. So the pros and cons of this controller. Well, first of all, the pro would be the price. $25 on both Amazon and their website. It works just like a Nintendo Pro controller, which does retail for $65 and does literally all the same things, plus a couple of features that the licensed controller does not have, such as a turbo function you can turn on and off, to where you can turn basically a semi-automatic weapon into full auto, or you can rapid jump in something like Smash Bros, which is pretty cool. I also do like this rubberized soft touch material, and I do like their graphics or designs for their faceplates. Another pro that I do like is these grips here. They're not rubberized, they are plastic. A little ASMR for you guys, but they do feel good. Also, I do like the way that these face buttons look and feel. They have kind of a sunken in 3D design, but they also feel really good too. They're not mechanical, but they do have a nice tactile click to them for being a membrane switch, i.e. there's a rubber plunger mechanism under here, but they do feel pretty clicky and nice. Same thing with the D-pad and all these accessory buttons. They feel good. Also, I like how seamless the pairing is. It works just like a Switch Pro controller. And you can also Bluetooth this to things like a phone, tablet, etc. for mobile gaming. And I also do like the bumpers. Now, moving on to the cons, what I do not like. The triggers feel a little bit sloppy and loose to me. They just feel a little bit hollow, and like the plastics are kind of cheap. So I'm not a huge fan of the triggers. Same thing with the analog sticks over here. Two things I don't like about them. First of all would be the actual surface that your thumb lays on. It is flat and not very grippy whatsoever. As you can see there, your fingers don't get a whole heck of a lot of grip. Granted, you're not slinging this thing around like a frisbee, you're just holding it in your hand, but still, if you're playing something like a first-person shooter, for example, I have been playing the Bioshock collection on my Switch, both in handheld portable mode as well as docked. Another thing that I find rather interesting is that there's an anti-friction or impact ring around the right analog stick, but not around the left. Now, I get that's good. If they're going to put it over one analog stick, I appreciate that they do it over the one that, hold on, Little Dick Joe is driving down the street in his lifted pickup truck to go pick up Darlene at the trailer park. What's the point of having a lifted full-size pickup truck in the inner city? You know, you got a ranch or something that I don't know about? Savagely disappointed with your schmeckle size. Moving on. It is important that they put it on the right analog stick, because what that does is when you're at full lock, it'll glide along smooth plastic rather than the rough, jagged plastic of the front shell. And I do wish they put that on the left analog stick, because I was playing Breath of the Wild the other day. You know, I'm moving Link around as I'm running, and it's just grinding along some rough plastic there. I just wish they would put an anti-friction ring, i.e. these little smooth black plastic rings, around the left analog stick as well. And then my last con is that battery life is subpar. It's about on par with a Switch Pro controller, a licensed Nintendo controller, but it's not terrible. It's just something I did want to list as a shortcoming, is that the battery life could be a skosh better. It also does have a USB-C port on the top. Now, who do I think this controller is good for? Well, first of all, anybody that wants a second, or maybe you're hosting a Smash Bros tournament or party at your house and you need, you know, several controllers. But you don't want people to have to turn Joy-Cons on their side and play with them like that. That's not a fun way to play. So something like this, where you can buy, you know, 4 controllers for about $100. Awesome, considering one Switch Pro controller is about $65. Or somebody that's on a budget. Maybe you bought a used Switch on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something, and you want a Pro-style controller for less than half the price of a licensed one, then this is a good deal for you. This has all the features and functionality of the licensed controller, plus a couple of additional features like turbo. Now, in the box, you're going to get your controller. Obviously, it'd be kind of weird if you didn't have a controller in there. Your instruction manual, which you know I'm a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to instruction pamphlets and brochures, and this is pretty good. It's not top tier, but it is above the norm, I would say. No color, but you do have some pictures and diagrams in here showing you the features of your controller and how to turn things on, like turbo function. And then you have a very short USB-C cable for charging. Can we just take a minute to say cosmetically, I think this looks amazing for a $25 controller. And it also doesn't feel cheap in your hands either. Like, you don't have that cheap, chintzy plastic. Granted, I will say the back shell isn't the most amazing thing in the world, but the front shell is like a nice rubberized soft touch material. And I really do like the LED ring around the analog stick, as well as the fact that the face buttons illuminate. Pretty cool. So pairing this bad boy is dirt simple. I have half a brain cell and I was able to figure it out. So what you want to do, you can see what I've been playing here recently, a little Breath of the Wild. You're going to go to controllers. You're going to go to change grip/order, and then you are going to press the home button and Y. Why? Because that's the way to pair it. So you're going to press Y. These 4 rows of LEDs are going to flicker up and down, and then they're going to go solid. If it doesn't go solid after you press home and Y, just hold down both the 2 triggers. So how to activate and adjust some of the features that the standard Nintendo Switch controller does not have. First of all, you do have turbo function. So by pressing the screen capture button over here, which is what you usually use to take a screenshot or record a video clip, this is now your turbo button as well. So if you hold this down and then press a button that you would like turbo function, for example, let's say you're playing a shooter and you want the right trigger to be basically full auto. Then the LED ring around the right analog stick will go red, letting you know that you do have turbo engaged. And then to deactivate it, you just do the same process. Now, if you don't like the illuminated face buttons, you can turn these off by holding down left and right bumper, or L and R, for about 5 to 10 seconds, and these will turn off. You can also adjust the vibration of the controller through 5 different modes by holding the turbo function and then the D-pad up or down. And if you want to adjust the brightness of the ring around the analog stick as well as the face buttons, you hold down the right stick, click down R3, as well as both the triggers, and then you are able to use the D-pad up and down to adjust your brightness. So if you have a dark room and this is kind of disorienting for you, you can dim them, or again, turn them off completely. One other con or shortcoming that I forgot to mention earlier is that I would like if they added another button like this controller has here for all of their additional functionality like turbo and controlling the vibration motors, because if you're sharing it with the screen capture button over here, every single time you want to adjust either the LED lighting or the vibration or remapping, you are taking screenshots and recording videos directly to your Switch, and then you have to delete them later, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. Other than that, this controller is awesome for $25. So where can you buy this bad boy? Good question. Sharing my screen over here. Oh, that's Streamlabs. And then zooming in on my skull just a skosh. There we go. You have a couple of options. First of all, they do have a website. 25 bucks over here, and this is where you are going to get the full selection of their different graphics and whatnot, because if you come over here to Amazon, they only had these 2 models here, which is the Cosmic and the Dragon, or Starry Night as they call it, Vincent Van Goober. If you're okay with either of these 2 patterns here, I would kind of recommend getting it through Amazon, because you are going to get Prime 2-day shipping as opposed to waiting several weeks to have it shipped from most likely China. But again, 25 bucks for all the features of a $70 controller. Granted, you can find these occasionally on sale, but Nintendo isn't the one that runs sales on these licensed controllers. It's the vendor, the merchant. So Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, etc. But generally, I mean, this is the recommended retail. You can basically buy 3 of these controllers for the price of 1 of these if you're trying to have like a Smash Brothers tournament or something. I think that's the best application, in my opinion, would be if you need multiple budget controllers that don't feel like cheap pieces of crap. So overall, I would recommend this, especially for the price. I know that's kind of a loaded compliment when you're like, oh, nice car, dude, for the price, or that's a sweet house for the price. It's like, are you giving me a compliment, or are you just saying that in the budget department, I did well? You know what I mean? Overall, this controller is actually good, period, because it has features and functions that the licensed Switch Pro controller does not. RGB lighting that you can turn on and off, being able to control the vibration motors, turbo functionality, which could be very useful in something like Smash Bros, or shoot, even Zelda, you know, just sitting there hacking over and over. Just hold down the button, save yourself some skin off your thumb. Can't use turbo function in anything like a tournament because you'll get booted. Overall, pretty damn good controller for the price. This is linked in the description below. If you enjoyed this honest product review, liking it will help it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, and honest gaming peripheral reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, chairs, mics, etc. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.